Revolutionary greetings, comrades. It's a red Sunday, the 19th of May 2024. In our political education today, we are focusing on the threats that have been made by ZANU-PF government to arrest Comrade Job Sikhala, who is the leader of the National Democratic Working Group and also former member of parliament. We all know that Job Sikhala spent about 595 days in prison. When elections were held in August 2023, he could not contest, he was in prison. In our previous video, we did speak about Comrade Job Sikhala, asking the progressive world to give solidarity to him because of his incarceration in Zimbabwe. And I want to thank all the progressive organizations that did give practical solidarity to Comrade Job Sikhala. He was then released from prison. After his release from prison, he was invited to speak at the UN 16th Geneva Summit for Human Rights and Democracy in Geneva, Switzerland on the 15th of May 2024. So the speech that he delivered in Geneva has angered the ruling party in Zimbabwe. They want him arrested. We have always said that ZANU-PF strives on threats. It does not engage in the battle of ideas. Instead of them unpacking what Comrade Job Sikhala, then countering what he said, they are now resorting to threats. In this video, let us focus on what Comrade Job Sikhala raised in his speech. What are the issues that he raised? You might disagree with what he raised, you might agree with what he said, but what are these issues? Comrade Job Sikhala spoke about his time in prison, 595 days, his experiences, how he was treated, how his family was treated, his lawyers, how he was denied bail. One would think that the ZANU-PF propagandist will then counter that and they tell the world that no, Job Sikhala never spent 595 days in prison. But we all know, because it is recorded, we all saw him going to prison, being denied bail. So we expect them to counter that. But of course, they are resorting into threats. He spoke, secondly, Comrade Sikhala spoke about how his family was treated, particularly his wife. At some point, his kids couldn't go to school because he was away from them. He could not raise, the family could not raise the school fees. It was only well-wishers that were raising school fees for his kids to go to school. He spoke of the solidarity that he received from university students, 6 of them who then got arrested for giving him practical solidarity. We wonder why ZANU-PF propagandists are not countering this. He spoke about the human rights abuses in Zimbabwe. It's a fact that Zimbabwe continues to violate the rights of individuals. We can go back to Kukrawondi, the genocide in Matabeleland and parts of Midlands. We can go to the violence that we saw from 1990 after the signing of the Intercode on the 22nd of December 1987. It did not stop. We saw how Zoom was treated. We saw how the movement for democratic change was treated. So Comrade Job Sikhala was highlighting this. And again, because the ZANU-PF, they are ideologically empty, they cannot engage on the battle of ideas, then they resort to threats. He spoke about the recalls that we have seen that happened in parliament. Members of parliament or elected public representatives recalled in parliament and in local government. He spoke about the persecution of public sector workers, particularly the arrest of trade union leaders. We have always highlighted the manner in which trade union leaders have been persecuted in Zimbabwe for demanding a living wage. Trade union leaders are being targeted in Zimbabwe. Their sin is to demand a living wage. So Comrade Job Sikhala spoke about this ZANU-PF propagandists will not want to engage him on this or society on this. The last point that he raised, he spoke about the partisan food distribution, where there is serious drought in Southern Africa, which he highlighted. And in the past, ZANU-PF distributes food along party lines. And one of the things that the inclusive government did not address, failed to address, from 2009 to 2013, was the manner in which food aid was distributed, including farming inputs. Because parcels of food or fertilizers, farming implements would be distributed from ZANU-PF headquarters. It then goes to provinces, districts, through ZANU-PF structure. So this is what Comrade Job Sikhala is raising to say, because we're in serious drought in Zimbabwe, let us not use ZANU-PF party cells to distribute food. Let every Zimbabwean receive food. These are the issues that Comrade Job Sikhala raises. Like we said, you might agree with these issues. You might disagree with what Comrade Job Sikhala said. But does this warrant threats to arrest him? Why would you want to arrest a man who speaks about his own experiences in jail? He spent 595 days. So why want to arrest him to say you should not speak about your own experiences? He has a right to do so. He has a right to speak about the constituents that he represents. It is a fact. It is a fact, undeniable for that matter, that the thousands of young people leave Zimbabwe for greener pastures as economic migrants. It is a fact. It is a fact that some political activists have run away from Zimbabwe to seek refuge in foreign lands, in South Africa, in Europe, and elsewhere. It's a fact. What ZANU-PF government must do, because they want to arrest him, we understand why they want to arrest him. They want to arrest him because there's an application to join the Commonwealth, an imperialist default, because Emerson Mnangagwa and his administration, they want to take Zimbabwe back to the imperialist default, the Commonwealth. So they do not want anyone then to speak in that international platform about what is happening in Zimbabwe. What they simply need to do is to allow the people of Zimbabwe to express themselves. You do not have to force people to love you, like what ZANU-PF is trying to do. Allow people to express themselves. Allow the workers to join trade unions. The government of Zimbabwe is the employer of civil servants. When workers organized under trade unions confront the work, who happens to be government, the workers must not be donated to the opposition parties. In fact, government as the employer must address the issues that are raised by the employees. This is what Job Sikhala was talking about. Instead of persecuting trade union leaders, the government must sit down and have dialogue with them as leaders of the workers in Zimbabwe. As we have said, that you might agree with Comrade Job Sikhala, you must disagree, but let us not use the threats. Please share your views in the comment section. I am Ngqabuto Nicholas Mapena, General Secretary of the Zimbabwe Communist Party. As communists, and I want to underline this, as communists, we do not have to agree with anyone to give them solidarity. Right? We do not have to agree. Ours is to stand with the weak against the powerful. Comrade Job Sikhala needs our solidarity. The government of Zimbabwe must not issue threats of arresting Comrade Job Sikhala. Let him express his views. If they do not agree with these views, let them contest his ideas in the political terrain. Amandla, comrades.